Let's start working with exponents by doing an example from page 188. Let's do number 62. When you are working with these exponents, I want you to kind of look at them a little differently than maybe the textbook shows you. I want you to think about it in a little bit more simple fashion. For this one, we have 4 A's on top, 7 B's, 2 B's on the bottom, 1 A on the bottom. Now, thinking of it as how many of each thing we have on the top versus the bottom, rather than thinking about whether or not to subtract exponents or add exponents or multiply exponents, might make it seem a little simpler for you. Looking at the 9 over 27, treat it just as the fraction 9 over 27 and reduce it if you can. So I'm going to start with the 9 over 27 and I'm just going to reduce that to 1/3 because that's a pretty simple thing to do. Then I want you to visualize in your head what is sitting here in terms of the A's and the B's. You don't always have to write it out like this, but once you've written it out a couple of times, you'll automatically get a visual in your brain when you see other problems so that you won't have to write it out, and you'll be able to determine where your answer should go, being the top or the bottom of the fraction. In the top of this fraction, I have 4 A's. I have A times A times A times A. And I have 7 B's. B, B. Okay, 7 B's. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at that, I can count. Okay, on the bottom, I have a single A, and I have 2 B's. Now, it looks like I've broken this up into 3 fractions, which I guess I have. Still all the same thing. I just like to have it separated like that, so it makes it a little easier to work with. Alright, I have my 1/3. Now, if I were just looking at this problem, I would say A's on top, I have 1 A on the bottom, one of them's got to cancel out, and I've got to decide, do I put my final A answer that's left on the top or the bottom? Well, if I look over here, I can see that this A will cancel out one of these, and I can see where my 3 A's that are left are. They're on the top. So when I'm doing my final answer, I'm going to write my A's, all 3 of them, on the top, but I'm not going to write them out anymore. I'm going to put them back in exponent form because the idea is to write it in a more simple fashion. Take that same concept over here to the B's. This B will cancel out this B. This B will cancel out this B. And I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B's, and they're on top. So that's where I'm going to put them. Now, your rules told you subtract 7 minus 2 to get how many B's you have. Well, lo and behold, that's how many B's I have. I have 7 minus 2 B's, which is 5. But I think it makes a little more sense if you try to visualize where they're canceling and where they're being left over so that you know whether to put that B to the 5th in the top or the bottom of your fraction. Now, that is the end of this problem. If I want to make it a little bit neater, I won't write that 1, and I'll just write A cubed B to the 5th over 3, which is how you will probably see it in your textbook. And that's the end of that one. In the next example, I'll include some negative exponents, so be sure to watch that one too.